Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy, man. It's Let's Talk Sports show happening right now, man. First topic of the day, we got Chargers versus Ravens playoffs, man. I'm a Charger fan, man. So your boy happy, what? We moving on. We about to get their work. New England about to get this smoke, so you know how that's going down. Right to the Super Bowl, man. All my Charger fans, man, hit that like, subscribe button, man. Fucks with your boy. Because we going to have some shit popping off for this playoffs, man. Also, I want to talk about, man, Lamar Jackson getting a lot of flack for being good, man. Listen, man, the boy, I think they said at the 9-minute mark in the fourth quarter, the boy was 3 of 10, 35 yards, and a pick. Okay, when you look at that, man, you gotta understand, shit, the Chargers was getting after it, man. That Chargers defense was getting after it, man. And then, you got the rookie playing against one of the best defenses in the NFL. Like, I'm gonna put it like this for y'all. For a lot of you guys that say, you know, oh, such and such would have did better, or I'm gonna put it like this for y'all. That same Charger defense didn't blitz as much against the Browns. Yeah, we blew them the fuck out. Like, blew them out. That game wasn't even close. That game wasn't even a contest. That game, they got blown out so fucking bad. Mayfield was their starting quarterback. The Buffalo Bills. I'm just naming off the rookies. Came out there against the Chargers. Blew their ass out. Von, Vontae Davis, Vernon Davis' brother, Vontae Davis quit at halftime. He said, "Hey man," he seen the clock. He said, "Man, I got 2 more minutes and I'm out this thing." He got on at halftime, retired. He was done. Uh, uh, Arizona blew their ass out. I mean, like, come on, man. Come on, man. You feel me? Those guys wasn't doing no better, man. They wasn't gonna do no better. You feel me? And they get the excuse that they rookies. Oh, you rookie, you're rookie. I don't give a fuck. Lamar Jackson at least won a game against us. Shit, he won one against us. If that's the case, every coach need to start finding them a Lamar Jackson. At least he win once. Shit, the rest of them getting blown out of the water. Blown completely out of the water, man. But just again, this is a sports talk show, and I just want to analyze, his play from that day. I just want to analyze his play from Sunday. Um, yeah, I felt like there was some tough throws. You feel me? The Chargers went out there, and we didn't, like, 58%. Shannon Sharp said, and I checked the tape to verify this, but yeah, 58% of the 58 plays, not 58%, 58 plays, because they didn't run 100 plays. 58 plays, the Chargers had basically 7 defensive backs on the field. Now, a lot of people are thinking, oh my God, they got 7 defensive backs, because they're trying to make him throw the football. No. Literally, no. If you had that in your mind, that was just stupid as fuck. Defensive backs stop the pass. That's their job. Stop the pass. Linebackers stop the run. Defensive linemen stop the run and pressure the pass. So you have to be able to understand football for one to understand these things. So the Chargers went out there with 7 defensive backs. They were basically saying, we will not allow Lamar Jackson to beat us throwing this football like he did in that first game. In the first game, we actually slowed him down running the ball, but he beat us throwing the football. So they was like, we're not gonna let that happen. So what they did was they had seven defensive backs. They took the linebackers out. They replaced it with seven defensive backs, and the reason they did that is because as far as him getting out of the pocket and getting to the sideline, the defensive backs would be faster to cut that off. So instead of him getting an 18-yard run, we're trying to cut it. Let's say instead of him getting a 10 to 18-yard run, we're trying to cut that down to like a 6, 7 yard run. You get me? Just with the pursuit. So now the pursuit is faster. That's the point. That's the whole point of it, for the pursuit to be faster. Then that also leaves this. There is no amount of receivers you can put on the field that would get you an even matchup. See, you got to understand that there's no amount of receivers you can put on the field that would get you an even matchup. And what that means is, so I have seven defensive backs. Even if I play two safeties, that leaves five defensive backs on the football field. So if you come out in a four wide receiver set, five guys blocking, one running back, one quarterback, right? That means that either you're going to max protect and keep the running back in so that you can try to push the ball down the field. And if you do that, if you're doing that, then you're outnumbered. You know what I'm saying? You're outnumbered 7-4, right? On the back end of that, you're outnumbered. Well, in the back end of that, you're outnumbered 7-4 in the passing. But let's say you decide, well, we're going to send the running back on the route. So instead, I have routes, four routes by receivers, and the running back out on the route as well. So you empty the backfield or whatever. You empty out the backfield. What you did was, now you've left man blocking. Now you've left man blocking where you have weaknesses on your offensive line. So you don't have you don't have this great offensive line where they can just match up physically with another, with the defensive line. So that's why the problem that they was having was at at guard. And then what the Chargers would do is we would take one of our better pass rushers and place them on the guard. You see, and the reason why we did that is because the guards were the weaker link. So we were getting the pressure right up the middle, right up the middle. You didn't have to come from the side, didn't have to come nowhere. So getting it right up the middle, and when you get the pressure right up the middle, you affect how this ball is going to be thrown. You affect the whole play. The whole play is broken up at that point. See, when you get pressure from the outsides, you give the quarterback a chance to step up. You get me? But when you get pressure from the middle, the best place to get pressure from is the middle. You get pressure from the middle, it's the shortest distance to the quarterback. Right from the middle. Right up the middle is the shortest distance from the quarterback. And then not only that, he can't step up. So if he does try to get the ball out, it will be off his back foot. You're almost certain that he's going to throw the ball off his back foot. Now, with a guy like Lamar Jackson, you know, his ability to escape is really well, like really good. So I was amazed that we got 7 sacks out of the game, only because I thought he was going to be like taking off a lot more, and I felt like what he did really well against us in this playoff game was, what I felt like he did really well was, he didn't pull the ball down looking to run. You get me, and get the yardage. I think that had a lot to do with the spy. They had a spy. They used one of the defensive backs to spy him. I think that I think it was like Adrian Phillips. Well, they switched it between Derwin James and Adrian Phillips a lot, but so they did that. But I think that was a good thing to me. I felt like that was beautiful that he didn't do that, because not only, well, I feel like it was beautiful that he didn't do that because I felt like I watched him. I felt like we was watching him evolve right before our eyes. Like, damn, you feel me? Like, I just watched the evolution of a whole player right before my eyes, in one game. You feel me? And so what he was doing was he would run and try to extend the play to throw the pass. You get what I'm saying? Now, a lot of times, uh, you look at these things and you're like, oh, he's holding the ball too long, so he's gonna get sacked. That wasn't the case. That wasn't the case. He wasn't holding the ball too long. He literally had zero time to throw. He had no time to throw. Like, okay, that last play, the last strip sack, the last strip sack. If you notice, you give him like a couple milliseconds, and that ball is out of there, and it's looking like it's gonna be completed to a wide open receiver. Like, because the Chargers wasn't covering down the field. It's weird because we were not covering down the field, man. There was plays in that game where if he had the time to throw, he would have hit Michael Crabtree. They could have they could have scored 4 touchdowns. 4 offensive touchdowns, all to Michael Crabtree. I bull Twinkie you not, you guys. It's crazy because Crabtree was getting open. Now we got. I mean, Crabtree's a veteran receiver. We have our all. He's a former All Pro. We have Casey Hayward's a former All Pro, and basically what the Chargers did was like, listen, man, we're just gonna line you guys up and see how that works out, you know. And unfortunately, with some of our schemes, getting sometimes we get washed up in the defense. I mean, get washed up in the offensive run game, and Crabtree literally was open down the field a couple times. If they were able to get the ball, if they were able to actually get the ball there, like he had enough time to throw, it would have been a whole different ball game, man. He played well. He played well. I saw on a couple other sports shows. I read the comments and everything. I saw on a couple other sports shows where guys were like, "Oh, those are garbage time stats." Listen, bro, if you don't know football, please stop talking. You don't know football. Garbage time stats. You don't throw 2 touchdowns in two back-to-back touchdowns and have a chance to go down and throw another touchdown and win a game in garbage time. That doesn't happen. Garbage time stats are what happened in Oakland with Oakland and Kansas City. I mean, Kansas City had like 35 points at the half. Every point that Oakland scored after them was garbage time. Like that's what that was. Game was over at the half. You know what I'm saying? Garbage time is what the Chargers did to the Browns. You know what I'm saying? That's garbage time. I think Mayfield threw a touchdown. That touchdown, that's garbage time. Garbage time is your that was not gonna affect the game. It was not gonna change how this game was gonna end. All it did was get you on the scoreboard. That's not the case. The case was they realized that there was a matchup that they were winning. If you go and take a timer and you look at the first touchdown pass to Crabtree. Another thing, stop saying it was prevent defense. This is the problem. This is the problem. We have too many people. The problem is we have so many people that don't actually know sports that talk like as if they know sports. If you never played, I played 2 years college football. Well, I played 3 years college football. Then I had my daughter. You know, if you don't know how to play football, man, stop. Don't mention something you don't know nothing about. First of all, the first touchdown pass to Crabtree. How are you playing prevent defense, yet the motherfucker can't prevent the touchdown? The whole point of a prevent defense is to prevent you from getting behind the defense and scoring touchdowns. So they weren't playing. For one, they weren't playing prevent defense. The guy, it was a man matchup, literally man matchup. It was man. He got the ball out. It was a good ass throw, and it was a touchdown. It happens. The second touchdown, it was man on as well. Difference is they sent a blitz. The difference is on the second touchdown they sent a blitz. He actually escaped. He broke a tackle. He escaped. He got out of the pocket, and instead of taking off and running down the field, what he did was he extended the play with his legs and started running towards the sideline. And what that did was that allowed, for him to have a better. To me, I felt that allowed for him to have a better throw to Crabtree. But Crabtree and Casey Hayward are fighting, hand fighting each other in the end zone. Why would Hayward be fighting with Crabtree? He's not even Hayward wasn't even looking at the quarterback. Why is he not looking at the quarterback? Why is there only Hayward and Crabtree at that point in the end zone? The reason that is because it's a man coverage. They sent the blitz. That's what happened, bro. So they actually beat the blitz, and then just looking at the time allotment, when you look at the time situation, so the first touchdown came at about 6 minutes. The Chargers get the ball back. The second touchdown came at about what 4 to 3 minute range. The Chargers get the ball back as well. This isn't garbage time at all. This is crunch time. It's not garbage time. It's crunch time. He, we ended up not securing the win because if we get two first downs, we secure this win. They don't even get the ball back. Instead, we give them the ball back, and the defense showed up, baby. Defense showed up. That was the story of the game, though, man. That was the story of the game. I was on the edge of my seat. I was all, man. I was like, oh hell no, 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 don't let that motherfucker do that, man. But it was a great game. I enjoyed it. I loved that game, man. I loved that game. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, and also obviously, I'm glad the Chargers pulled out the W. I'm glad we pulled out the W. Lamar Jackson's gonna be. He's gonna be a damn good quarterback for years to come in this league. He's gonna be a great quarterback. Just seeing the body of work that he's put together. I feel like I feel like the rumors that he can't throw the ball have all been debunked at this point because in the fourth quarter he goes 11 of 19 for like 160 yards and two touchdowns. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't even seem like the same thing. You feel me? There was a play where it was like very Russell Wilson esque. You feel me? It was a very Russell Wilson esque type of play where he breaks like two tackles, runs out of the pocket, and he was running, and he just floats the ball up in the air, and James couldn't get to it. It was a perfect fucking pass. It was perfect, perfect because James is up in the air and the ball drops right, just right over his fucking arm, right over the outstretched arm. I said that's a perfect pass, dude. That pass was so perfect. It was like wow. I couldn't help but be amazed and also pissed off at the same time. But you can't get mad at James in that situation. He went for the ball. You give me if this ball is anything but perfect, if it's anything but perfect, he knocks it down. That's it. It's a perfect throw because if it's anything but perfect, he knocks it down. And it's caught, and then we all know what happened at the end. But it was I was excited. It was an exciting matchup. I think all weekend that was the only game that really excited me because I couldn't wait to see what he would come out doing. I know they had beat us early, later on in the season, so I was just trying to wait to see what they would come out doing because I wanted to know how they were gonna interact with, or react to whatever the Chargers was trying to do. You know, ultimately, we got the W. That's all that mattered, though. At the end of the day, Phillip Rivers, whew, let's go get that Super Bowl, baby. Let's go get it. As a Charger fan, I love Rivers. I gotta love Rivers. You feel me? That's my boy. But I've been pissed off at Rivers for the past few years, man. Because what happened was this. Real Charger fans, if y'all know what I'm talking about, y'all know what I'm talking about. What happened is this, man. 2010, LaDainian Tomlinson plays his last season with the Chargers. I think he had like 730 rushing yards or whatever. Okay, so the Chargers released LaDainian Tomlinson. 2011, we ended up, I think we ended up going 8-8 or something like that. 7-9 or 8-8. We drafted Ryan Matthews. You know, I think 2012 we also ended up like 8-8. We were having some subpar seasons and whatever. And in 2013 we go 9-7 and we make the playoffs and whatever. Yada yada yada. But we weren't good, and a lot of it had to do with the makeshift offensive line because our offensive line was like always hurt and whatever. A lot of that had to do with that, but then a lot of it also had to do with Philip Rivers and his play. Um, During those years, Rivers was not good, and you saw that he didn't evolve as a passer because of how heavy our run game was with LaDainian Tomlinson. So as of now, Philip Rivers has evolved as a passer. If you notice, his interceptions during that time frame went up. You give me his interceptions went up during the time frame post LaDainian Tomlinson, and now they're going back down. Completion percentage is going back up. His yards are going back up. His touchdowns are going back up. So he's back to playing like, you know, it's back to playing great. Now that could also be because we brought in Melvin Gordon, but I'm not gonna do that to him. Philip Rivers is playing lights out, man. He's playing beautifully, and I like that he's not trying to do too much. You feel me? Like he said he said after the game, he said, "We doing just enough." He said, "We're doing just enough to get, to get where we got to get, doing just enough to win." Like the offense is doing its job, and I like that because before it looked like he was trying to force a lot of things. He gave me like a lot of his interceptions come from him trying to force the ball in certain places. Like Sunday, he didn't seem like he was trying to do any of that. It was like I'll take what the defense gives me, and that's the best thing about it. I mean, you get 22 completions against that Baltimore defense, and you only threw 32 times. Man, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Now, obviously, you didn't throw for a plethora of yards, but 160 is fine. 160 is fine. That's exactly what we need, man. When I was, when I was playing college ball, and when we were at practice, like okay, so we would go to film room, and during film room, our defensive coordinator I used to play linebacker, and I'm only 2 years removed from college football, just so you guys know. Our defensive coordinator used to say, like, he used to tell us what he would do is he would bring in a scouting report. He would bring in a scouting report. He would bring in our, team. It's like I guess he would print out a sheet because we would have a team page that we can go to watch film, and he would pull out a login sheet, and it'll tell him like how long we've been watching film that week and stuff like that, like each player. So he would print that out, but ultimately he would like let us know like okay, give us a scouting report, and pretty much if you were doing your job, like if you were doing what you're supposed to do, you would have recognized that stuff. You would have recognized it, and I can genuinely say everything that he put on that scouting report. When you go and you watch the film, it was there. Everything, and he broke it down into percentages. It was like, okay, this team runs the ball on first down, this percent, and they go to the right. You feel me? This percentage of the time, and it lets you know who's their better offensive linemen. Like, okay, this offensive lineman, they run behind him this many times and whatever. So it was like, dude, it was very detailed and broken down. And the thing about that is when, when he used to do that, if you were doing your job, you would see that play out on film. But when you're doing your job on the football field, obviously you're not watching the film, right? On the football field, when you're doing your job on the football field, you would see that play out more so on the field. It comes about a little differently. It really does come about a little differently, but you can read which way this player is about to move. You get me? Once you see the way he moves, it's like, okay, that's a run. Let's go. You get me? Or you see like, oh, okay, he does this when he does this when he's about to pass block. Everybody has their tendencies. The great players tend to hide their tendencies a lot better than other players. So what I mean by that is take Keenan Allen. If I'm just breaking down film on Keenan Allen, you know, does Keenan Allen show me when he's going to run a route or when he's not? Does Keenan Allen show me when the football is coming towards him and when it's not? The reason why I say that is this. So if I'm breaking down film on Keenan Allen, I'll notice that when it's a run play, how hard does he come off the ball? You see what I'm saying? So like certain players, like certain things like that. When it's a pass play and he's not the first option, how hard does he run that route? You give me and stuff like that. You notice those tendencies when you break that down and stuff, and that's what he used to do. And I feel like that's what the Chargers did to Lamar, and I feel like that's what we you know had the situation with Phillip Rivers too. It's just fascinating. Like, bro, football's a great sport. You feel me? You can do all of that stuff and still lose. You feel me? And still lose. But I'm proud of Rivers, man. I'm glad we got the first W out of this playoffs. I feel like the Chargers going to the Super Bowl. You know, we have a great team. Melvin Gordon's injured. He got two knee braces on. I feel like to preserve his career at this point, we shouldn't play him. And I'm just being completely honest. And from this perspective, I'm not just speaking as a fan. I'm speaking as a person that as a humanitarian person, I guess, or somebody that genuinely cares for this person. To preserve his career, I would say we need to make him inactive the rest of these playoffs. Because if his knees are that bad to where he has to have a brace, just let him rest, get his surgeries, get him healthy. Because if we don't win a Super Bowl this year, then we'll be shit out of luck trying to get him healthy for next year. You get me? I feel like Julian Jackson and and Austin Eckler can carry the load for us. I feel like Julian Jackson's that dude's beautiful. The dude's fucking great, man. You feel like he's a solid back, and also is Austin Eckler. I feel like they can get it. They can get the ball moving for us. We just gotta, put it into the situation, and then you know, man, how many of you guys were impressed with Antonio Gates on Sunday? How many of you guys were like seeing Antonio Gates, seeing that fire in him again, and seeing him, push the way he was? Like I was like, yes, I was celebrating, man. Like Antonio Gates is that's man. Hey, man, lifelong Charger fans, man. We look at. I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm looking at the Hall of Famers, Antonio Gates, Phillip Rivers, and I'm like, bro, go get your Super Bowl, baby. Get your Super Bowl. And they on their way though. So next thing is I want to touch on, does New England have a chance? Do we have a chance in New England? I feel like the Chargers have the best chance in New England. Between the two teams that played in the wild card round, I feel like we had the better chance in New England. The defense has to show up. That's it. New England's defense is very deceptive, and it shows up. Like it shows up for real, for real. New England's defense is good, so our offense has to show up. The thing that I know for sure is if our defense comes to play, we can stop their offense. Their offense is not the best part of this football team this year. It's that defense. So if we can stop their offense, we'll be fine. We'll be in another game like we were just in. You get what I'm saying? And I trust that our defense will be a lot better against the people that can't run the ball as well. To where we don't have to fight them with the run game as much. It's gonna be a different game though. It's gonna be a different game because Sony Michelle, that dude can run that rock, man. That dude can run that rock. I'm not sure if he's gonna be active or not. Brady is good, man. And as it is all. I don't like the guy because I feel like I don't like Brady because I feel like this. That's how I feel about Tom Brady. I break down his film, right? So Tom Brady can make some nice throws, and don't get me wrong, I'm not by any chance saying he can't throw, but Tom Brady can make some nice throws. You know, he can make some nice throws and whatever. But most of their throws come off pick plays, and that tells me that you have to your receivers aren't getting separation, and to get the separation that they're looking for, they kind of run illegal picks. You know, so they run their illegal picks, and it's like, oh, I see it, and I'm like, damn, that's an illegal pick play. I don't know how that didn't get called. And then not only that, it's those it's those routes where it's like, okay, we call it like a clear out route. You get me? So you'll notice that there's like Gronk taking the defense away from the shorter route. You get me? It's a clear out. He's not the intended receiver there. The only the only reason why the ball would get pushed to Gronk is if the defense did his job on the intermediate route, the shorter route. So if the linebackers play that route better, then they'll have the matchup they want with Gronkowski on a smaller, safety or corner. The way you beat that out is the way you beat on a smaller defensive back. But the way you beat that is you put your safeties there. Now, most people notice safeties are a lot more physical than certain corners. A lot of corners are like, they be on some, oh, my nails, shit like that. They be on some weird shit. But, not all of them, but, a lot of them, they be on that pretty boy shit. But safeties are essentially faster, smaller linebackers. You get me? So they play it, they gritty, they just like us. You feel me? They get down there, they get into that situation where they willing to stick their face in it and make a fucking tackle. You get me? And make some shit happen. You feel what I'm saying? So that's the situation. I got the Chargers winning that game. I think the Chargers win that game. If I'm being honest, I got the Chargers winning 24-14 Chargers. I got 24-14 Chargers on that one. Kansas City, Indianapolis. I just don't know if Indy can stop Kansas City at this point. Now, without without their running back, Kansas City's vulnerable because now Mahomes has to do everything offensively. So without their running back, they're vulnerable. But if here's the thing, I'm kind of torn on that game because if Indy can keep the ball, if they can run the ball well enough to keep the ball away from Kansas City, they should win that game easily. Because Kansas City's defense is not what it should be. It's not what you would think it would be for a team with that type of caliber. It's not. It's not really that great of a defense to me. And I adhere to the defense wins championships moniker. So yeah. Uh, I mean, let me know. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think, man. Let me know what y'all think about the NFC matchups, the AFC matchups, and holla at your boy. Tell me if you think if you had the same assessment of Lamar Jackson that I had. You feel me? Tell me if you think Phillip Rivers and the Chargers getting that first Super Bowl berth. Hit your boy up. It's Let's Talk Sports Show, man. Holla at your boy. One.